Hey friends, today I'm going to be talking about how I went from 552 followers on Instagram, community members to me, to now over 20,000 organically in less than 2 years. So this is my journey. I am not telling you how to do it. I am just talking about how I got there, how I arrived at that space. And maybe it will resonate with some of you on how you can grow your community organically. So stay tuned. So yeah, I think I'm going to stick with this vlog style type of video. It seems to resonate a little bit more with everyone, and it actually works better for me because I don't have to do a lot of editing. There will be videos when it will be pieced together and I might have some words up top. I might show you what's sold, but this to me is what I like better. I like conversation, and I don't even have to pretend. I know that it's someone over there. I see you. I see you. And I just want to thank you for, coming along on this journey with me. And so what I'm doing here is basically the same thing that I already do on Instagram. So if you want to know how to grow your Instagram to the place where you want interaction with people, everyone's desired growth is different. And I want to tell you, truthfully, when I first started, I didn't know I would be here. I wouldn't know I would be in this place where people kind of give you titles, where they call you influencer and where they call you leader, or, there's a specific expectation. I'm still the same person. So that's where the challenge comes in, where people are looking at you a certain way now that they think you've arrived. The biggest thing before I get started in my little story, I'm just going to do like a little story of my journey. But before I get started, I tell people I'm really the same person. And when you have a large community, that's hard for people to understand. You go places and they start freaking out and whatever. But I don't want anyone to fan me. I want you to friend me. I don't want you to get excited when I walk in the room, which is wonderful. But I want you to think, you know what? My best friend, Leslie, just walked in the room. And that's how I want you to look at me. So if you've been watching my journey from the beginning, then you'll know that my growth is I'm growing, but that's also because I'm growing internally and I'm growing mentally, and my business sense is growing as well, and new experiences are coming my way, but I'm still the same person that I've always been. And my family will tell you that, and people who are really close to me in the community that have become really good friends, my private group, my tribe that's been hanging with me since 2019, they'll basically tell you I'm the same person. Oh yeah, I have on a hat. If you don't know, I crochet. That was my first very big business on Etsy. And this is one of my hats. And I have on my jacket. It's a little chilly here in Delaware. Between the allergies and right now it'll probably come off soon because I'm 1 minute I'm cold, 1 minute I'm hot. But then having a bald head in my office it gets chilly in here. So this is how you'll see me a lot of the times, So I'm going to get into it, just talk about my journey a little bit. And yeah, it's all organic. I had to drink my coffee. So when you make these videos, your voice can kind of get froggy because you're talking a lot. So I keep water, I keep coffee, and I want to let you know that I'm being laid back about what I'm doing. It's easier for me to do it that way. Some truck or something's beeping. I'm gonna let it go. And do its thing. I'm in the front room, so I hear like everything. It's so hard sometimes to tape videos, and I like my space, so I try not to move around the house too much. People say, the magic of making videos is being different areas in it. It's people that live in this house. I don't have a studio where I can just make videos or I can walk around. I don't have a storage area. This is it. And so I have to work in my space when it's quiet, because you don't know, I'll set up my tripod somewhere else and somebody will just walk in a room and start talking, and you can't hush everyone who live in a house when you're just because you're running a business, right? So that's one of the, if you watched that last video I did a couple videos ago, the difficulties of working from home. So I know I'm being silly. Okay, so I have to write notes for myself. It makes it easier for me. I'm 51 and sometimes I forget. I am going to, in a couple weeks, there'll probably be another video where I'm setting up, actually it won't be a couple weeks, it'll be this weekend, where I'm setting up a teleprompter. I bought a stand for my iPad and I have a teleprompter app, which is going to work for me because I'm trying to put some other things together for my new business. Yes, I have a new business. So this is, in 2018, I started the Instagram page that is currently my Instagram page. It was originally going to be my personal page, and it was going to be about me. My first name is Leslie and my middle name is Danae. So my page was called Les Danae. It was as simple as that. I had a photo of myself and I had just posted a couple just pictures of myself, and I don't know if it was pictures of my children or whatever, and was starting my Instagram journey. Now, I had already had another page because at the time I was crocheting. I had a crochet business. It was I was really busy. The Women's March, I was making the cat hats and everything, and had a successful Etsy business. So Surprise Designer was my Instagram page. I actually recently just changed that Instagram page to Leslie's Tie-Dye Dreams. That's all I did. I just did to change the name, introduce the new business, and bam, without getting into creating another Instagram page. And from there to here, I currently have 5 Instagram pages. I think it's 5. That's a whole nother story. So I started off as a personal page, Les Danae, and that was probably like April 2018, and I didn't do anything with it until about July 2018, where I just casually, I was selling heavily on Depop, and of course I was selling on Poshmark because August, the next month, is when I became a full-time reseller where I left my job. So I really was just, throwing in what I sold, pictures of, well, first I want to go back and tell you that I changed once I decided to make that Instagram page a business page. I changed it to Leslie's Fashion Boutique because that's who I was on Poshmark as well, because I was selling on Poshmark first. So I was Leslie's Fashion Boutique. Then I created an eBay store, Leslie's Fashion Boutique. So that was what my Instagram originally was. So this community wasn't even here in 2018. So I'll fast forward, I'll get to that in a minute. But in 2018, I was Leslie's Fashion Boutique after I changed it. So that was in July 2018. And so I was just showing pictures of what sold. I was on Depop, and if you sell on Depop, they have where you can share your items. So you can share like 4 pictures. You just click them and then you share it to your stories or your feed. So which is a really great feature. And then you can hashtag. That's a really great way. They still have it now. And so I would, put what sold or what I was selling on Poshmark, and just putting that kind of stuff out there, what was available, that kind of thing, what I sourced, just photos. And I did that from just July to around December 2018. And I was really busy then. That's when I left my job. So that was like the best, really, really great reselling year for me. So by the time the end of the holiday 2018, when that period when sales slowed down for a minute, which is like literally the last week in December, I really sat and was thinking, wow, I'm pretty lonely. It has to be more out there than just reselling. Like, I don't have any friends. I left my job. No one's connecting with me. No one's reaching out to me. And I would reach out to a couple people, let's have some drinks, and I realized I didn't have any friends. So I decided, hey, how about start a YouTube channel? So in January 2019, I started a YouTube channel, which was, again, I think it was just me, Leslie Tucker. And I went in and did my first video. I sat down and just kind of introduced myself. And then I just did some videos after that. I did a total of 30 videos on YouTube. And by the same time, I literally had about 552 to Instagram. They're called followers. To me, you're called community members. And that number sticks in my head because it's like so clear to me when I made the transition of, I'm not really getting a lot of movement here on YouTube. Let me just focus 100% on Instagram. And at that time, that's when people actually did kind of start looking at my YouTube videos and reaching out to me. And so I sat down and tried to think about where did I want to put my time, because at the time I was selling on Poshmark and eBay. And so I had to really think about where I wanted to focus. And so I decided, you know what, I'm going to leave YouTube alone because it was a lot of competition. People were doing hauls and all that, and I wasn't really doing hauls per se. I was talking about like what sells for me, what's in season. I talked about in a couple of my earlier videos, I talked about um shopping at the bins and things like that. I wasn't you know, I didn't have an intro, my lighting was bad, and I was just organic, and I'm still organic. I'm just learning as I go along. And so I just left YouTube there. And that was probably about March 2018. And then I focused everything on Instagram. And I was like, oh, it's this thing called IGTV. Let me just do the same thing that I'm doing. Because at least with my 552 community members, I know at least 25 people will watch my videos. So the same concept that I originally started off for YouTube, I moved it to Instagram and just started making IGTV videos about anything that I thought of. And fast forward to now, I have 180 or so IGT videos. So it's amazing. And then people just kind of started finding my videos and sending me DMs and telling me what they liked. And so I really, again, had to start reevaluating like, there has to be more than me just saying, this is what I sold. So I decided just to just vlog kind of like my life on Instagram. And again, for me, it's not about the aesthetic. Honestly, I think about time. I don't have time to change filters and make sure I'm a certain color and do all that kind of stuff. I just like take a picture and then I'll have a caption and ask questions. To me, that's really what it's about, like to engage the community. So it started from there. I started, writing inspirational quotes. I started showing up and talking about myself. I started talking about like why I'm bald. And then I started hearing more about the social aspects of Poshmark, which was my main selling app. I was still kind of selling on eBay. And then I started hearing about these things called Posh and Sips. Because in October 2018, I did hear about this thing called Posh Fest, but I wasn't really vested in Poshmark yet. And I said to my husband, oh, I would like to hear more about that. Oh, they have this event and maybe we can go the next year. So 2000 again, in 19, I really just started kind of doing a little bit more. And when people started kind of seeing me reveal myself and talking about myself, the engagement started picking up. And originally it wasn't even about engagement. I just wanted to be real. I just like, I don't want people to think I'm just selling to them all the time or just telling them about my little items that I'm selling. They're selling items. And so I discovered like hashtags. I started researching, and then we went from 15 to 30 hashtags that we can use. So I started, incorporating hashtags into my posts. And then I said, oh, wait, I can start going live. Now, mind you, I was very introverted and I had already started with the videos and was like, okay, here I am making videos now, and I'm pushing it by going live. So I told myself, as I always do, I prep myself and say, look, now you're going to do it. So I just started going live. I didn't have a schedule or anything yet. I would pop in and people started seeing that. And then all of a sudden I was live. And so what I did was I decided that I would just go live on Sunday because I figured people were home at 9 o'clock, and I've been doing that since then. And so this was probably about March, right? And then I said to people, oh no, it's a little bit earlier than that, but I said to people, wow, I would love to build a community. I'm going to be starting a Facebook group. I would like to not just see you show up in the comments, I would like to see you face to face. So I started a Facebook group, and we would have Zoom chats once a week. And that's another way my community built up. It became too much because I'm a person who I want to see you, I want to see action. So the group started growing, but the same core people showed up for the Zooms. And I was like, you know what? I can keep this on Instagram. So I closed down the regular Facebook group. And now I have a smaller private group of core people who have been with me since February 2019. And so that grew. I started going to these things called Posh and Sips. I had my own Posh and Sip, and that community aspect started kind of growing. And I just put myself out there every single day. I didn't do anything special. I just showed up, show my true self like I do here. Life is too short. We get too serious about things. I don't get into the drama of Instagram. I take This is another key tip to what I do. I take what I see on Instagram and I turn it around and use it as an educational tool. So if I come across a um a post where someone's bashing another person, then I'll figure out a way to spin it and make it a post that will start a conversation. If I hear or see someone else who is talking about a customer by calling them lowballers or putting their name out there and talking about the bad review that the customer gave them. Like, I mean, why can't we take a bad review, right? It's all the customer's fault. So I take that and then I turn that into a post and create a dialogue to find out what bothers people. And I really talk about like all kinds of things. I talk about like lowballing. I don't like that word. I think there's a price point for everyone. I think we take things seriously, too seriously. So this is how I create my organic growth, by just starting conversations, just posting positive things. April 2019, I decided, you know what? How about if I start a podcast? I didn't even look around to see if anyone else had podcasts. I started, I went out and started researching and thinking like, okay, this is how much it's going to cost me to start a podcast. I had been looking for web hosts. I got myself a inexpensive mic that was compatible with my tablet. I got some inexpensive headphones. But then within the community, another reseller said, oh, I started a podcast using this free app. And then I went in and found the free app and was like, wow, it's definitely free. And that day I started my podcast, and I can tape right into my phone. I can tape right to my tablet. I can do interviews from Zoom. And so it's been like an amazing experience. And I took what I was already doing on Instagram and just put it into the podcast. And from the podcast, that brought more community members my way. Literally every day, my DMs blowing up of people telling me and thanking me for just being transparent and providing tips. One of my core friends, we were really close, and I asked her to be my first guest. My friend Kayla, she no longer resells, but we're still good friends. And I asked her because I knew her. I didn't know how to interview people, and I asked her if she would be my test subject to be my first person I interviewed, and it went from there. And what I will tell you is, if anyone thinks it's easy to do this, it's not. To be like on Instagram, everything that you see and hear is really true, but it's really about you and the spirit that you have of how you're going to take it and how you're going to handle things. And what I mean by that is, I hear from so many people that this is what happens. You find a YouTuber that you like, because a lot of the people who are resellers have gotten kind of big on YouTube. So that's that person. Oh my gosh, I found this person and I just love them. And then you go to look for them on Instagram. The first thing that stops me, and that I would tell you to stop and look at, is the follow to following ratio. If the person that you're following has 30,000 followers and they're only following 200, back away real quick. Stop what you're doing. Continue to look at their posts, look them up, write down all the people you're interested in, keep coming back for their content, but don't follow them. Now, what I will say is, because you'll probably get to me and see that I have 20,000 followers or community members and I'm only following like 7,000, whatever. The one thing is, which is really weird about Instagram, they only allow you to follow up to 7,500. Okay. And a lot of times I save my follows for people who I want to follow, as many smaller resellers as I can. So I do try to hold space for that, because if I get up to 7,500, then what I have to do is I have to unfollow. And I don't want to do that, because enough people do that on a daily basis, right? So we want to talk about that real quick. Unfollowing, like I was just saying, only follow quality people. Not saying that, big resellers or famous resellers aren't worthy, but if they're not going to follow you back, why give them your time? I think that's really important for you to think about. Go through and see. Now, if they're big and they're not following a lot of people, but they're engaging in content and they're giving you quality information and you want to give them your time, then do that. But if you go and you realize you're all excited, they're putting out content because they want you to follow them and to get their numbers up, then stop what you're doing. My it's a trash truck. Hopefully that doesn't bother you. I'm gonna just like let it go and do its thing. But yes, just don't give your time to people who aren't going to be worthy. I had to take a pause because the recycling truck went through and it started beeping really loud. But so I was saying, don't give your time to people who aren't worthy. It's great to follow people. And what I want to tell you is, in this community, I love people. I just see people with my heart. I don't judge by other people and what they tell me and how they're feeling. I don't even go by the actual resellers who are famous resellers. And one thing I want to tell you is, people, the resellers or anyone in life who becomes bigger than themselves, that's because we make them bigger than themselves. So if there's a reseller, with this is the way I look at it. This is the reseller community. If you walk down the street, no one's going to know you. Now, you may, like, every now, like, if I go to the bins, of course people are going to know me. I mean, that surprised me the first time that happened. So when I go, someone always knows me at the bins, and every now and then maybe at the post office, but that's just like local people. But at my bins, people come from Philly, New Jersey, Maryland. So people know me at the bins. Okay, that's probably going to be my only celebrity, spotlight, unless I go to a Posh and Sip or something like that. But otherwise, if I'm literally just walking around the world, no one knows who I am. So if you look at it from that perspective, no one knows who these famous resellers are. We're the people who make them famous. So if you're all freaking out and everything, stop that. Just be my friend. Don't fan me. I want to know who you are. I don't want to know who your Instagram name is. Tell me a little bit about yourself, why you got started. You can ask anybody. Like, when I went to Posh Party Live, is people like all excited. You can find me at so and so on Instagram. I don't want to talk about that. What's your name? Tell me a little bit about yourself. That's really important to me. I want to know people. I want to get to know you. I don't want you just to know me and follow me. And so I found that kind of difficult when I was, looking at other YouTubers, and then you get to Instagram. And my whole point about this is, I want to talk about from the perspective like new people. So you're a new person and you just love somebody with a big name, and you go and follow them or send them a DM, and it's womp, womp, womp. They are not interested in you. They don't get back to you. You comment on their posts. They're not commenting back, whatever. They're just doing it because now they're too busy and they're too famous. And I have experienced that myself back in April, after I had done my test case with my friend Kayla, actually by May, June, and I was looking for people to be on the podcast, and I would just reach out to people. One, it was because I was just getting started, so I kind of went with the people's names that I knew, not because they were famous, but because I knew them and I followed them on YouTube and I love their content. And I would reach out to them. I'm like, I started a podcast. Would you be interested? And literally, people were, honestly, this was the thing. They were honest and said no. One person who is a very big reseller, been on TV and everything, said to me, how many, downloads? At the time, only had 3,000 downloads. And they literally told me, no, I didn't have enough listenership for them to give me the time. And I was like, wow, it didn't even hurt my feelings because that's how people are. And I was like, okay, not a big deal. So I just started approaching people. And then some people were saying yes to me. And so we would just get on. And so I decided from then on that I would search through Instagram and look at people's feeds and find stories. Like, I've interviewed people who are going to school. I've interviewed people who are chemists. I've interviewed people who are stay-at-home moms. I've interviewed people who are juggling and reselling and working, who are moms. I did a mom series, who were working moms and stay-at-home moms. I did a couple series. I've had all kinds of people on my podcast. And so when I started going to participating in the great events like that Poshmark provides, I started meeting more people. And so by having the podcast, that's bringing, people to my Instagram page. Just me organically growing by attempting and trying new things. So I say to you, attempt and try new things, okay? So I have like a little paper here. So I went through a lot of that stuff about how I got started and everything. And so I want to say that if you're just your true self, show up every day, okay? And so to grow organically, how I grew organically was showing up regularly, just being me, just being transparent, just talking about who I was. When I started doing that, I started seeing growth, and it was just amazing to me. I don't follow for follow. I don't join reseller trains. I've tried that before, or even any kind of train. I will say that in the beginning because it seems like appealing, but then it gets this thing where you have to follow everyone. My thing is you want to follow somebody who's going to bring something to you. You don't want to follow because you want to get followers, because what's going to happen is that person's going to follow you, you're going to follow them, and then they'll go through and unfollow you. And I used to have an app called Follow. Instagram doesn't allow it anymore, and they're kind of getting rid of the apps. And so what the app did was it showed you how many people you're following, how many people unfollowed you. And so I would go in every 2 weeks just to see who unfollowed me. And if they unfollowed me, I would unfollow them because I thought it was really rude. And you would go and you could see their numbers growing because they wanted followers. And I think that's just very rude. Honestly, I don't even know who follows me anymore because I don't think it's important. I think that if they're coming to talk to me, I talk to everybody at the same level. If they're coming to my page and they want to see what I'm talking about, or they want to see what I'm doing today and what kind of information, my Zoom chats or whatever, they're just coming to see me. And that's why I tell people how I appreciate them. And I'm always really humble. It surprises me because I'm just an everyday regular person. I'm Leslie, and I hope to stay that way and not get beyond the grasp of who I am as a person. I hurt like everybody else. I have challenges in my life just like everybody else. And if we stay there and we stay true, it's up to you to reveal what you want to reveal. No one's telling you to give it away, but I learned based on what people are asking from me and what they're looking for, what I need to show, because you don't know. One of the things I will say before I go back through my list is there's been so many times I will say there's never a day that I'm not crying from either a DM or a post that I read or something that's coming my way. My private group that I've built up and text messages they send me that I haven't cried. There's been days when people say I help them make a decision about where they wanted to go in their life, whether it be business, marriage, or whatever. I'm not getting involved in anybody's marriage, but they make it on their own, just I guess seeing or believing. And also there's people who have sent me messages about how I've helped save their life, how they were going to end their life today. Can you imagine that? And so that, to me, it used to shock me in the beginning, but now it just keeps me at a place of humility to show me that, you know what, just keep doing what you're doing. You don't have to do it my way. I'm just telling you how I did it. But I think that if you love, just put love out there. And you can do it in an educational way. You can do it by creating dialogue. You can create it by putting out positive posts. You don't have to show your faces if you don't want to. If you wanted to go away, create a story, and I'm going to talk about that real quick. So that's what I've been doing. I'm transparent. I try to be positive. I try to have quotes, and I try to, of course, start dialogue from everything. If you put a post out there, right, my suggestion, always have a call to action. And the call to action is the person coming back and responding some type of way. Okay, it could be a quote. You can ask the person, how did you feel about that quote? How did it resonate with you? What would you do with this information? If you create a meme, I heard memes back in the day were great. So I decided to make my own memes instead of me putting up some other, I tried that, but I make my own memes. You can go to Canva and you can put word bubbles and all kinds. You can create your own stuff. Be creative. If you're creative in life, how creative can you be on social media? Instagram is my jam. I used to like Facebook. Every now and then I do Twitter, and the other ones don't compare. Instagram is everything wrapped up in one. I'm not interested in being a TikTok star. I like Reels. You know why? Because it's on Instagram and I already have the people. So why should I move over to TikTok where people are shaking their booty all day? As soon as I click it, every time I turn around, somebody's butt is in my face. So I'd rather just have Reels where I can create a reel and I can go look for reels if I want. But if not, my reels is out there and I've already got content. Definitely, I try to stay motivated and motivate people. My goal is to speak life into people. That's really important to me. There are so many people hurting. It's a lot of things they didn't get as children, or they had bad marriages and different things. I've been married 3 times myself. I know what it's like to feel like not wanted or mistreated, or really important for people to be validated, to be heard, to be seen. I don't know you personally, but my goal for you is for you to feel validated. So I validate you. You know, I want to let you know how important you are if you don't think you're important. I learn as I go along. Instagram literally is my education. I don't have a college degree, and I'm okay with that. Never been embarrassed with that. Never been embarrassed to my children. Never want to explain, because I know people who have college degrees and they're nobody. I have no respect for them. I don't like the way they treat people. That's a whole nother story. So a college education doesn't mean anything to me. I grew up on the, I'm educated by life. You know, I grew up on the streets of Philadelphia, and then every part of my life has been in education, and I go out and I search for knowledge, and I'm learning every day on Google, YouTube, learning how to use Instagram, learning about Facebook groups, learning how to run a podcast, learning how to write an ebook. So I'm still learning every single day. Bam. I have just took some courses. I'll be talking about that in a future video. I have certificates that I've gained. So I'm good. So I try to just learn by scrolling through. And if something jumps out at me, I read people's posts. I love the tips of the day. I love to contribute. I love to comment. I love to go on to Zoom chats. I love the Posh and Coffees that Poshmark has. So I'm continually like learning. And the other thing is, I also don't ever want to be too big that I can't go to a Posh and Coffee. Sometimes I'm like, oh, so-and-so, people will invite me. If I can make it, I come, you know, and I'm like, I'm here, and I let them, you know, and I'll ask questions and answer questions. So I just try to learn as much as I can everywhere. Stories was a challenge for me, because I was in the beginning just using stories. I was like, okay, this is what's for sale, or just popping up something really quick. So what I try to do is just create short videos during the day. I don't create a story at that moment. I create little bits and pieces with an actual story to tell. When I get up in the morning, maybe I'm taking some photos. People love me pouring coffee. If you just talk about your life, it's amazing. You know, if you just talk about your life. I was looking for my planner. One of my friends posted this, and I put it into my book. I like Gary Vee. I don't know if you guys listen to Gary Vee or whatever, but he said the number one asset in the world is other people's attention. That's how you grow. The stuff that you do, for some reason, people are interested in your life. I don't know why, but if you just put out things about your life, people will gravitate towards that. I'm learning reels. For some reason, they took away my music. So I'm trying to put a content together that is going to just be educational. So look out for my reels coming. That's something new that I want to learn. I want to continue with IGTV. Eventually, Instagram is going to be monetized. Okay. I don't know at what level, whatever. I haven't been doing like extended IGT videos like I used to, because I've put more of my focus back on YouTube. Yes, I'm back on YouTube. So that's gaining exposure in my Instagram. But my IGTV, if I create a full length video on YouTube, now what I've been doing is putting a little teaser on IGTV. And so I don't know where they're going to get monetized, but I want to make sure that I'm on the bandwagon for that as well. You know, I do like affiliates. People will reach out to me and say, you know, will you use my product, and we'll give you, you know, either money or free products. I'm a Jomar affiliate. That's where I got this great hoodie. Jomar is a family-owned business that I've been shopping for years, so I already knew about who they were. So I just talk about Jomar. I use them. That's the only place I source right now, because I have not even been in a thrift store. So I just started using List Perfectly. I'm an affiliate for them. I use a passion planner. I'm an affiliate for them. I'm an affiliate for a coffee company. So you can get you can get paid ads or whatever. It's just people reach out to you. You don't have to like search for people. So it's a lot that you can do with Instagram. So the last things I want to say about Instagram is, as I said a little bit earlier, just continue to be yourself. Try not to fan people. Don't give them more than who they are. You are one of my community members, and I appreciate that so much. I really do. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Sometimes I can't find where my camera is. One day I'm going to treat myself to a good camera. No, my phone is great. But just keep showing up. Keep being yourself. If you don't know who you are, through the journey, you'll find out who you are. I knew who I was, but through this journey of meeting people, hearing people's stories, of people who are having accidents in the community doing GoFundMe and stuff. Let me tell you something. The community will show up for you. Just be yourself. Real quick, I made this community before 2019, before I got started. I didn't know anyone. The community has embraced me. For my birthday in July, they got together, did a surprise Zoom chat. People collected money. They sent me over $1,000. They sent me gifts. I got a great passion planner. I got some tie-dye poly mailers. I got all kinds of love. And that's just because they said that I keep showing up. So if nothing else, there's that. So friends, I just encourage you to make your Instagram or your social media how you want it. I don't pretend for anybody. I don't show up just for anybody. I show up for me. So the bottom line is, no matter what, if you do it for you, it'll be good. You know, if you build it, they will come. Thank you for coming along for my journey, friends. I wish and hope that you continue to keep showing up. Take care, friends. Hey friends, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please consider subscribing, giving me a big giant thumbs up, and setting the reminder for future videos. Take care, friends.